interesting to me that sometimes when we talk about the principles, it seems like they're, you know, a thing or a technique or a set of ideals, or a lot of people say, well, I try to live the principles. Well, you can't try to live the principles. If you're alive, you're living the principles, because the principles describe life. So you may not like the fact that that's the way it is. You may not like the fact that you can't really blame your mother for the way you're thinking today. You know, you may get upset with the idea that, you know, it's not somebody else's fault, or it's not because you couldn't buy a new car, or it's not because you're not making enough money, or it's not because you lost your job, or it's not because you're stuck in your house because of COVID. It's because the way you're thinking about it. And that's true for everybody. And that's just the way it is. So the principles are kind of like a description of what's going on. Now, when you know what's going on, it's easier to function. It's easier to function within it. If you don't know what's going on, you're always feeling confused. You know, so before I understood the principles, for example, I'll give you a silly life example, but I did not understand why people got mad. You know, I would say that, you know, I would look at something that somebody was really angry about, and especially because I was in business and there are a lot of angry people all the time. I was in a service business. And I think, you know, that just, I can fix that. It's trivial. It's not even important, you know, and now that I see it, I can take care of it. Why is this person so mad? You know, it's not worth getting mad about it. And I would get defensive because I would think, you know, what's wrong with you? Why are you so angry? Instead of realizing that in that person's way of thinking, that's the best they can do. They're frustrated, they're disappointed, they're upset, they're whatever. And in them, it manifests as anger in that moment. And that's how their head is filled with anger, and that's the best they can do. But it takes the personal thing, it takes the personal out of it. When I can look at a person who's yelling at me and see that it's nothing to do with me, it's their thinking. It's how they're using this precious gift of thought and consciousness, and how they're manifesting their own energy of life at that moment. And it's really not personal to me. They'd be mad that, you know, a tree could be standing in front of you and mad at the tree. They're just mad. And you can see the same thing in us. You know, sometimes I have parents sometimes that get very upset with themselves, you know, when I'm working in counseling and working with families. And parents will be very upset with themselves because they lost it with their kids, especially teenagers, you know, and they'll say, I just can't believe that. I know better. I just can't believe that I completely flew off the handle and I created this big scene. And, you know, my daughter hasn't spoken to me for a week, and, you know, and it really wasn't worth it. And there was a better way to handle it. And what's wrong with me? Well, there's nothing wrong with you.